Okay, so today we've obviously done all the basic stuff, and we are just going to, well, we're going to get someone in to come and shear some of last year's ewe lambs. Like these ones here are ewe lambs. So they're all quite, they're Dartmoor crosses, grey-faced Dartmoor crosses in the hole. So they're really long and tufty, and you can see they're getting quite dirty on the back ends. So it makes sense just to shear them now, stop them getting fly strike, and as the weather warms up they're going to be a lot more comfortable, because we're not going to shear the bulk of the ewes now for probably at least another month. So we might do this more here as well. So yeah, we just need to sort them out now. So we did the rams as well. They, at the moment they don't recognise each other because none of them have got their wool on. So they're just getting to know each other again. Right, I've just retrieved my sheep for the second time in a couple of days, with the help of a neighbour actually and his dog, which was, thank you very much Dylan, as they were eating another neighbour's silage fields, which were not really going to be appreciated in the long term. So I'm just going to put an E on their back for escape, and then if you see any of them in the vlogs later on, you'll know they're a pain. They might not look it, but these sheep are seriously irritating. Number 9 with a single, number 18 with twins. Nice lambs in fairness, and you know, doing the job with their lambs, but really hard work for me. So just to avoid any confusion, I've put an E for escape on their back in red, in the hope I don't put them out into anything that isn't really well fenced again. I really shouldn't do, because they've been a bit of a pain in the arse in the last couple of days. Hopefully the paint won't wear off. So just planting some seeds. This is bolt-hardy beetroot. So going to be multi-sown, so I've got 3 seeds in each of the cells. So some I've kind of grouped nicely, some I've kind of got spread out. I've got quite chunky fingers, it's not the easiest for me. Oh, there's 4 in, 1 or 2. In theory there should be about 60 seeds here. So it's not loads, but it's quite a lot of beetroot to come kind of at once, and we'll pick one out of each clump, and it'll allow the others to get a bit bigger and so on. So thankfully we have quite relaxed livestock. This sow here, currently, aren't you, is sharing your pen with this dim-witted lamb. So quite why or how the lamb is in the pen, I have no idea, because there's not any grass in here, is there, my darling? You've already eaten it, along with all of the roots. Presumably it hasn't got much given its current location, but he's afraid the pig might come out. I don't want the pig coming out, really. Alright darling, you're alright. Not your fault this lamb's a dim-wit, is it? Also stupidly got normal work boots on today, because I thought, oh it's dry, I won't need to do anything too soggy. But here we are, walking around the pig pen with a big hump of soil. The lamb is now about to run off, which is great. Yep, so this is quite a good view of the shed. Sal's actually following me, which is a bit awkward. dry really mostly. Oh, I see. It's number 9. The lamb is number 9 lamb. The lamb of number 9 new. The escape artist. Just retrieved my sheep for the second time in a couple of days. With the help of a neighbour actually and his dog, which was, thank you very much Dylan. So you're following after your mother? Come on, pig. Come on then. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go on. No, out. Oh, come on. Just gone straight past an open gate. Oh, lambs. How are they so simple? Oh, now we've got the mother joining in. Joy of joys. Well, the mother knows her way out, so surely the lamb will follow the mother. Yes, thank goodness for that. Sorry, pig. Good morning. Okay, so I'm just sort of partway through feeding the pigs. We haven't showed you these pigs since we put them in this fresh pen. So I thought I'd just do that now. So they're eagerly awaiting breakfast. You can see they're starting to just slightly turn it over. There's still quite a lot of nettles and grass and stuff for them to play with, so they'll be in here a while yet. You see, we feed them on the ground. A couple of them are a little bit more nervous. Most of them are just food orientated. See, the rams are in the field just behind them. We do have going somewhere with a bit more grass really, but there's a bit there for them. Certainly won't be in here because there won't be much grass by the time these guys are finished. So I've just transplanted some broad beans which I sowed a couple of weeks ago in these kind of small pots because they're quite big seeds, beans. So bunyards, I think that is 24, I think. 26 maybe. They're about 9 inches apart, which is about the space of my hand, so I've just kind of done it roughly. There's a board down the edge. I've just used that to try to make the straight-ish rows where they're not that straight. So it's just like a double row, about 9 inches between them, about 9 inches between the plants. Hopefully I'll do alright. So it's just a little bit of half decent compost on top of the fairly chunky manure that's reasonably rotted, but not quite as fine as I'd like it really, but that's kind of what I've got. So you can see actually the cardboard that I put down first is quite good. There's nothing coming through that yet, but then you can see as soon as there's a break in the cardboard, because it's between the two pieces they weren't quite big enough to match up, there's weeds coming through already. So I'll have to try to get on top of that soon. So just herding over to check the one of the groups of ewes and lambs. So it's a bit of a mixed bag of singles and doubles with, well, it's basically the biggest group, but without the ones without any problems really. We've got one group without any problems that's much smaller, and then we've got a group that have got various, like not a lot of milk or a few with bad feet and stuff, so we just need to Want to jump over? Got a good shake. There's a couple of random sheep down there. Cool. Yeah. Well, it is now. There's a heck of a big lamb over there. It's nearly as big as its mum, isn't it? Is that Flo's lamb over there, just with another one on?
Yeah.
Just the two's faded?
Yeah. You like it?
She's nice. Not as big as that other one next to her, though.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it isn't? Look at it. Huge. It's a few days older, though, in fairness.
Yeah, and mine's more commercial.
Maybe.
And it's a good.
She'll make a nice ewe, yeah. So the sheep that is Sid's, like the lamb that is Sid's, is that little guy. Well, that little gal actually. She's a ewe lamb, and her mum will be in the pack somewhere. Greedy gutting. She was just at the gate. So it's about halfway along is a tree. She's the one with a slightly creamier coloured fleece than the Welsh ones.
The one with the swap sides.
Yeah.
There's two coming up.
So she's just kind of, sort of at the back.
So
She's that one facing us now. That one.
The Shetlands are going quite well.
The Shetlands are kind of keeping up, really, given they're a small breed. They're keeping up with the twins, anyway.
Hello.
The black one over the back's quite nice.
I like that. I like that one.
Yeah. Ah, that one's nice as well.
The little grey one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, two little Shetlands.
They're similar.
One lighter than others.
I think that coloured grey one.
The darker of them.
The black ones.
Yeah, brother, sister. They're twins, aren't they? And the other one was a single.
The other's a single.
And then the
Ooh, where's Blackbird's other one?
oh, they were both here a minute ago. They both got quite a set of horns growing.
Do they?
Yeah. One just up on the far side there. And I imagine the other one's in the middle eating.
The other's down there on that side.
Oh, in the shady bit.
The other one.
So this is Blue. He's just, well, it's a bit of a complicated one actually. We brought him to adopt onto a ewe, and the ewe didn't really take to him properly. He didn't particularly take to her, so we've sort of treated him as a semi-molly lamb and semi-adopted lamb, which is a bit weird. But it's kind of worked, but we're going to start putting him out onto grass in the daytime. With a couple of other molly lambs. It's the first time they've been out on grass today, so we'll see how they get on. So we're just putting them into a poultry pen today because there's quite a lot of grass in it and it's predator-proof and secure generally. So you can see there some nice grass in here actually. There's quite a lot of clover, which would be really good for them. So these are all boys. Two of them have been banded, and Blue, the one I just carried in, he hasn't. So we might, if he does all right, we might use him as a ram. But these two, Mutton Glutton. Sid calls him Mutton, I call him Glutton normally because he's massive and he loves his milk. And then on the left, just having a poo, which is great. And Jim, who's just shaking his ears because he was living in our kitchen for a couple of nights and he got called Jimmy Riddle because he kept peeing on everything. So we call him Jim now, and the other one's Mutton or Glutton, depending on if you're me or Sid. And this is Blue because he's a blue-faced Leicester. Yeah, that's the water, isn't it? I know. Probably leave them, watch them from a bit more of a distance, let them get used to the grass. It's quite new for them. It's a little bit scratched over there actually where we've had poultry in here, but plenty of grass in here for a few days for them, so might take them in at night though. Actually, they're just the other side of the fence's forge, enjoying the morning sun. Quite sure, I believe, decided to tweak the tiny bit of grass in the crack of mud, but he seems to be. Okay, so we're just going to move some sheep down a field on some rough grazing. So we've got a couple of fields that we use at this point in the year. So I'm just going to shake a bucket of feed and they should come to me. This is a blackbird, the twin rams or wethers, I can't remember what they are. Most of them don't seem to have noticed. They're still up on the hill. Sid's having to run around them at the moment. Some really deep ditches over there, so he's struggling a bit, to be honest. So they're moving in the right direction now. I'll put the bucket on the floor. So some of the Welsh ewes are actually quite tame. Well, frankly, most of them aren't, but well, those lambs are definitely going the wrong way. I think they're actually trying to go to Sid now, which is a bit confusing. So you can see some of the ewes we saw a few weeks ago now. You can see some people think that's massively early, but you can see some of these ewes are almost shearing themselves. So the Moritz Shetlands always go pretty early, so that one's literally half shorn herself. So could have easily gone a bit earlier. Anyway, better move before they get confused. You can see they're very happy with the arrangement. They like a new field. It's on principle as much as anything. One of these lambs has got a really weak little burr. Not quite sure what that's all about. So see, there's a few molehills here. A few sheep with brambles and stuff, but on the whole, lambs are looking pretty good. At the moment, morning boys. So at the moment we've got some couple of molly pens in what was our duck pen. There was some quite nice grass and clover in here. Glutton is interesting in the camera, hence I suppose the name Glutton. Hello Blue. And we've got Jim as well. He's too busy eating the pellets like a sensible sheep. Yeah, Jim is actually licking the screen of my phone at the moment. Hello Jim. So yeah, they're just eating this at the moment, and it's also obviously got the duck house, which is obviously a bit of shelter from the rain for them. So we put a bit of straw in there. Well, it needs freshening up a bit now. There's actually not masses of grass left. Might move them this evening, I think. Weather's meant to be improving now, so we will probably move them. Well, actually we had them in that poultry pen, in a couple of the poultry panels, so you can see we day one didn't eat much grass, but it's starting to grow a bit. Day two, and then the weather changed, so it's starting to rain quite a lot, so we've actually put them in here, which was this long, but they've been in a couple of days now because the weather's not been great. So we've just because there's a duck house in it, which is about the right size for these boys. But yeah, another few hours of grass and we'll probably move them. So we'll probably move them back to here to have the grass they haven't already eaten around the bits they've grazed. So we'll probably leave this area fenced off so this regrows a bit and they can eat the stuff on the outside. And then, to be honest, I'm not quite sure where we're going to put them. We might put them the other side of the pigs over there, I think, which means we'll have to carry them through the pigs, which might be entertaining. Or we could, we've got some space in the orchard actually. We've got an orchard here, so we've got a spare poultry panel there that's fallen over on some grass that they could eat, so we could fence that area off. And then there's another bit there. And then up the other side of the, well, this side of the fence, but sort of this side of those pigs. So we need to replant this bottom area where the pigs have been, but you can see they've done a really good job at turning it over. Actually, there's a section of hurdle there which broke off, and I've been wondering where it was. First time I've actually noticed that, although I've probably walked past it 20 times. You can see actually Red is actually starting to eat our gooseberries, which is a bit annoying, and also dig up some potatoes, which is also pretty annoying. He's dug one up, which is annoying. However, there is one starting to grow next to it, so I suppose it's not so bad. I'll just stick that in the ground next to it and hope for the best. So this is a sort of a set. Oh, we've got quite a few coming up actually. This is a sort of semi-no-dig potato, so obviously we turned it over with the potatoes. Turned it over with the pigs. And then we basically just hoed rows and put the potatoes in the rows, which seems to have been working, although the only downside, I suppose, is that the potatoes get dug out by my dogs because they're so shallow. They might well dig them out even if they were deeper. There's a few actually coming up now. Weed that. So you can see there's, I think from memory, there's 2 varieties in here because we've run out of one variety, and then at the top end, and then carried on with another variety lower down. You can see they're just starting to emerge, which is great, except for the fact my dogs keep digging them up. I'm just trying to cover that one back up. I don't know what it is with my dogs, but they seem to love potatoes. They always dig them up, even if we do plant them deeper. We always seem to manage. Yeah, seem to have some. But this last few days of rain seems to have helped a bit, so they're starting to come up now. You can see that one they dug up a while ago. And something else is eating that. We've got gooseberries. There's baby on this one. I can't remember which one it is, to be honest. It's an Invicta, which seems to be the one we do best with. These baby little gooseberries forming there. You don't really see them, but there's a few for me. Actually, there's quite a few forming on a little bush. Pruned it quite hard this year. So eventually we're going to put some more, I think, gooseberries up the middle of, well, where the potatoes are at the moment. I'm going to do it this year, to be honest, but the ground was a bit soft, so we left it a little bit. Then we thought we might as well do something constructive with it, so we planted some potatoes in the top part. Although the bottom part was still too soft then, but it's probably good to plant something in now, so we'll see what we've got and we'll plant something in it. I'm actually not sure what we'll plant in it, but we'll plant something in it. And then we'll probably try to plant gooseberries this winter. Although we may plant a few more black currants, but I think gooseberries. Right, so it's breakfast time, isn't it, boys? So you can see we've got them in quite a big pen, but they are starting to turn it over now. So they're about, I don't know, they've done about a quarter of it, I suppose. So at the moment I'm trying to find weedy spots to turn them to kind of focus on. You can see there's a few nettles here. We'll put on top of the nettles. They'll obviously eat the food, but they'll eat the nettles hopefully, and maybe be encouraged to dig on the nettly spots. There's some more. So you can see we finish our pigs really extensively. We've got lots and lots of space to wander about, and we spend a lot of time with each of our animals really. You know, a lot of producers with intensive systems, you know, they don't spend a minute per day with each animal. You know, they genuinely don't. So we spend quite a lot more than that. You know, and we use them as a tool. So like I said, I'm feeding them on top of the nettles at the moment, in the hope that they root up the nettles. You can see that guy there is actually, no, he's not anymore, because I've just put the camera on him. He's decided to bugger off and come and see me. That one there at the moment has got a nettle right next to him, and he's kind of knocking it about, and he's going in his mouth at points. So these guys are eating right around the nettle, or a couple of nettles, and they are really knocking them about a bit, which does mean they are starting to wilt and starting to die. You can see these ones we fed on a different day, so it takes a few attempts, but because we sort of come out and feed them all manually outside, we can really target the weeds first. So the grass is quite easy to strip back, to be honest, but the weeds not so much. These guys will be in here until they're finished in sort of 4 to 8 weeks, depending on exactly which ones we're talking about. We'll probably do them in a couple of batches. And yeah, you can see they're actually doing a good job. And then we'll probably plant a kale or a forage rake or something in here then to graze the sheep on. Yeah, so you can see it's working pretty well for us at the moment. You see we've obviously still got the Braccelli bluestone boulders, so we haven't mechanically cleared this pen at all. So there's a big boulder there, and there's another one just sticking up. They don't look like much. There's another one over there. They don't look like much, to be honest, but well, actually there's a pile just over here. So you can see they can and do get quite a lot bigger under the soil. So those few stones there are the obvious ones we pulled out of this field and that field over there. I mistakenly thought the pigs would go to the piles of food and ignore the empty bucket I just got on the floor, but no, 3 of them are investigating that at the moment. But I suppose that's fine. It's not actually quite empty, in fairness to them.